Philippines during Rizal time. The incident that occurred to Filipinos on the Rizal Shrine are very tragic. I can fathom how life would be without the freedom we have now. During the Rizal's time, Filipinos were treated like slaves with no pay. Abuse was widespread, and the Spaniards were crooked. If the Filipinos stood up for themselves, perhaps the Spaniards would not treat them as slaves or refer to them as Indio. It is unfortunate that Filipinos were not given adequate education to enable them to stand up for themselves, since education was dominated by the church and was corrupt. They utilized God's message to extract more money from the people. That is why Filipinos or the Philippines were not doing well at that time. We were colonized for 337 years, and we Filipinos experienced a great deal of cruelty during that period. Many Filipinos were not granted adequate justice for the injustices they have suffered at the hands of the Spaniards. We would not have the freedom we have today if Rizal had not stood up to defend us. We would still be colonized by Spaniards and subjected to maltreatment. Not just that, Rizal and Philippines is also experiencing these things. Instability of colonial administration, corrupt colonial officials, no Philippine representation in the Spanish Cortes, human rights denied to Filipinos, no equality before the law, maladministration of justice, racial discrimination, philiocracy, and forced labor. Hence, I believe that everyone has the freedom to make their own decisions, but everything is under control in his time. Finding justice does not imply acting immorally only because of the injustice we encountered, but rather opening our hearts to be ready in the event and knowing your rights. That is why I am grateful for Rizal for standing up for us today. Without him, the next generation or us will not have a bright future. His efforts were not in vain as we liberated from Spanish colonial rule, so Rizal is now considered as our national hero for saving our country from the Spaniards. The Mercado children. The union of Teodora Alonzo Rialonda and Francisco Mercado was blessed with 11 children. These were as follows. First, Saturnina is the eldest. She is married with Manuel P. Hidalgo of Tanuan, Batangas. The second eldest is Pasiano, a revolutionary general and retired farming, and he is the influential in the formation of Rizal's nationalist view. Third, Narcisa. Narcisa was married to Antonio Lopez, who is a teacher from Morong, Rizal. Fourth, Olympia. Olympia married with Silvestre Obaldo, who was a telegraph operator. Fifth, Lucia. Lucia is married with Marciano Herbosa of Calamba. Sixth, Maria. She is married with Mr. Daniel Faustino Cruz of Binyan, Laguna. And our main character, Jose Rizal, or our national hero, he is married with Josephine Bracken. Next is his younger sister, which named as Concepcion. Concepcion died at the age of 3. Next is Josefa. Josefa was the leader of the Women's Katipunan chapter leader. And then Trinidad, a Katipunan member. Lastly, the youngest sibling, Soledad. Soledad is married with Pantaleon Quintero of Calamba. Sorrowful years of Rizal and the family. Rizal's first tragedy was the premature loss of his younger sister, named as Concepcion or Concha, at the age of 3. Rizal has a soft spot for his sister. Next, the malicious allegation that had a significant influence on Rizal's life when Doña Teodora was unexpectedly accused with attempting to poison Jose Alberto's wife, which had a significant influence on his life. It should be emphasized that Jose Alberto Alberto, a wealthy Binyan Ilustrado, had recently returned from a business trip to Europe, during which with his wife abandoned their house and children and was discovered living with another man. He intended to divorce to his wife to avoid family scandal caused by her adultery. However, Doña Teodora encouraged Jose Alberto to reconcile his wife, resulting in an independent mediator, and Alberto living with his wife again. Then, the wicked wife, with the help of a Spanish officer of the Guardia Civil, filed a lawsuit in the court. Next is the Cavite Insurrection of 1872 was a protest by employees and the Cavite arsenal protesting the loss of their exemption from tribute and personal services. Despite the Archbishop's petition for compassion, Father Gomez, Burgos, and Zamora were killed before the daybreak on 17th of February 1872 by order of Governor General S. Querido. They were charged with investigating and leading the uprising or revolt. Rizal's townmates were subjected to brutal torture at the hands of the Spanish in Guardia Civil. The Guardia Civil hit them with bayonets for failing to bow properly and going by without removing their hats. And then the rude treatment to children and women. This is the soft spot of Rizal. Although isolated with the sufferings, injustices, and atrocities done by the Spanish government, acted as a wake-up call that inspired Rizal in determining the course and objective of his life. Rizal's education. His mother, who taught him to read and pray and encouraged him to create poetry, and his mother is his first instructor or teacher. Before being assigned to private school in Binyan, Rizal was taught Spanish and Latin by private teachers. Rizal enrolled in the Ateneo Municipal de Manila when he was 11 years old. He excelled in disciplines such as philosophy, physics, chemistry, and natural history. At his school, he reads novels, produced prize-winning poetry, including a melodrama called Honto al Pasig, and studied drawing, painting, and clay modeling, all of which he pursued throughout his life. Rizal finally received a degree in land surveying and assessment from the Ateneo Municipal while studying philosophy and letters at the University of Santo Tomas. Rizal chose to study ophthalmology at the UST Faculty of Medicine and Surgery after discovering that his mother was going blind, so he was unable to finish the course. However, because he became politically isolated by opponents among the academics and clergy who insisted that he adhere to their ideology. In May 1882, Rizal traveled to Europe without his parents' knowledge. According to his biographer, Austin Craig, Rizal had to leave his homeland quietly like a fugitive from justice in order to receive a higher education, and his family was forced to feign ignorance of his aims and activities in order to spare themselves from punishment. His name was put at Santo Tomas at the start of new semester, with the fees paid, and Pesiano had gone to Manila professing to be seeking for his brother whom he had helped out of the country. Rizal studied medicine at the Universidad Central de Madrid, where he also studied philosophy and literature. It was also in Madrid that he had the idea for No Limitang Here. He also studied at the University of Paris and finished his eye specialty course at the University of Heidelberg in 1887. Rizal's first novel was also released in same year in Berlin. Rizal is claimed to have mastered a wide range of abilities, disciplines, and languages. He was also a doctor, farmer, naturalist. He discovered the Draco Rizali, a tiny a tiny lizard, a pogania rizali, and a beetle, Rhacophaurus rizali, which is a frog. He is also a writer, visual artist, athlete, which focusing on martial arts, fencing, and pistol shooting. He is widely known as musician and social scientist. Oh wow, amazing!